Long night at the
Back
video
again.
store. Long night at the video store. I was actually gonna ask you, when you were working at Cinemark, did you ever partake in the? I know we're always looking for extra hours, extra shifts, and whatnot. But were you ever there for when Miss Forstner? I would imagine she's probably long gone. As far as like, she was an older woman when we were like 16. So I imagine at us being 50, she's probably departed this planet like many years ago. But she was such a, because she was the manager of the theater that we worked at, and
Yes.
she was always having us do like odd work. And I remember there was the occasional, like, I don't know if it was just because she was so trying to be that manager that was like always the number one manager of the region by saving either the most money or her theater looked the best, or, all these little things. But she would like, in some ways, I wouldn't say exploiting like 16, 17-year-olds, but she had us doing a lot of stuff that maybe you would probably pay somebody else to do professionally. But did you ever partake in the overnight waxing of the floors, where, I mean, it was literally like you would come in like around 11 before the last movie would finish, and then literally we would stay the entire night so we would work from about midnight until about 7 or 8 in the morning. Like, it was this big giant machine that would just sort of like,
the buffing wheel. Yeah. No, I
buffing,
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The big one that would like doing the entire lobby all the way up to the ticket area and like the entire like main lobby. She would like have us do that. Like, I mean, if we would volunteer, right? Like, I mean, we were getting paid.
Sure.
But it's like us doing it instead of having like a pro team do it. Did you ever?
I never volunteered.
Okay.
No. Yeah. I knew of it. But I never did it.
I only bring that up because like it was a long night for us, and we're recording this. I was gonna say we're in the video store quite early this morning to do some extra cleaning before like the day kind of gets going. But it kind of reminded me of that because I was like, well, we're not in the video store this early in the morning, but I remember those. Yeah. I would remember those nights because then like,
the sun was up when you'd go out the double doors.
Yes, and then like I would probably work the evening shift. I would just go home and sleep, and then come back in at 6, and then work until like midnight or whatever, and then But it was usually because I wanted extra money for something, right? Whether it was like a Discman, or I think I was saving up for a VCR actually that I bought at Montgomery Ward's. My name is Eli. I'm one of the co-owners and co-hosts of this podcast, Cleaning Early This Morning in the Video Store.
Right. And that would make me Jaime, the other half of the crew. So.
Yep. So I guess we'll just kind of jump into it because thinking about coming in early this morning and having watched this movie yesterday, we're going to talk about another 1984 sort of highlight that I think a lot of people probably are not familiar with, which is the movie Cloak and Dagger. It's funny because I can't think of a lot of people who have ever brought up like, oh man, have you ever seen Cloak and Dagger? It's a good one. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to think. I feel like I could show this to a ton of people, and they would say like, I've never even heard of this, because I know I've shown this to Denise before, and she was kind of like, wait, what is this? And I was like, it's actually, if anything, having rewatched it now, I mean, it's a really good spy movie, is what it is. Like, it's. I mean, it is also I guess, like you could say, like a family kid adventure movie, but it is 100% a spy movie for sure. It's just from the perspective of a young person, like a young kid. I think I had mentioned this movie to you before. Did when I mentioned it to you, did it ring a bell, or were you like, did you
Oh
have to
yeah.
look?
No.
Okay, I
No, no,
wasn't
no,
sure.
no. I no. This is one of those that stayed in the memory bank.
Okay,
No, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the kid's name, Henry Thomas, but
oh yeah,
Dabney Coleman was an established actor. I
yep,
remembered him from like 9 to 5 and a bunch of other kind
yeah.
of
He was
roles.
kind of the what do they call it? The there was actually a documentary about these types of actors that I think it's called like the actor with no face, like where they're actors that had big parts, but they never were like a Tom Cruise or a Brad Pitt. You know, like they're
Sure.
what do they call them? I guess they call them like character actors. Like they always play
Yeah, I
like
suppose.
they play like a part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're never like a big mainstay. And I feel like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
falls in that category kind of like. I mean, he was a big actor in the '80s and even prior to that. I mean,
Yeah.
it just nothing like
I was
ground.
trying to
I mean,
remember what other big role I know him in. I was just say I remember him from War Games, but again, he wasn't the main. He was. I mean, because obviously that revolved around Matthew Broderick's
yeah,
character and stuff, but like it was just one of those roles where it's kind of important. I guess he's like the most important supporting actor. I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, and that's what I was. I guess that's why they call them character actors, right? Because they kind of usually fit in a role, even though like yeah, he was like in War Games 9 to 5. Yeah, I mean he's like the Danny Trejo, like a Trejo type in that he was in a lot of movies. Like, oh yeah, like he was like in Dragnet with like Tom Hanks, and obviously he was in Cloak and Dagger. He was in the Muppets. He was in Tootsie.
Oh yeah, Tootsie.
Yeah, 9 to 5. I mean, he was. I want to say he was like in a lot of. Just, I mean, it's almost like he would take any role he could get.
Yeah.
Because if you look at his like his resume of work, like I mean, he was working from like the '70s, like all the way through the '80s. I mean, hell, he was working all the way up
Yeah.
to. It looks like he only passed away in 2024,
Yeah.
and he was working right up to the very end. Like it looks like he was like in Yellowstone, a couple episodes of Yellowstone in 2019. Like
Oh shit.
CSI.
He was from Austin, Texas. Went to UT.
Yeah, he is very much a Texas guy, and I wonder if that kind of like ties into a little bit of this movie. But yeah, let's just kind of jump into it because I think there's a lot here we want to say.
Yeah, I had a good time with this. Yeah, let's talk about it because it was late though. I did watch it late. I went to an Austin FC game last night because my half of my clan we're big into sports,
Yeah.
but but the sports is there. But I mean, I have my nerd undertone. It's down there. So I was we were on the train coming back or the metro rail, and I was like my son wanted to go. He's like, let's go shoot some pool. But I was like, man, that sounds like a great idea, but I got a movie to watch because I really want to watch this movie. And so
Did he watch it?
No, he ended up going home.
Yeah.
But I offered, but I was like, dude, it's an '80s movie. I was like, until I started watching it again, I was like, you know what, he would have liked this, but
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
but
Gonna say,
but yeah, I was like, I had a late start on this, but
Yeah.
I no regrets being up past midnight at all.
Yeah. Well, I guess funny enough, as we've kind of worked through the past couple of entries here, this one is in the Psychotronic video guide.
Of course it is.
So let me pull this
Yeah.
up and
Yeah, they failed us on a couple other ones, iconic ones, and then this one.
yeah, and then they sort of are able
Yeah.
to land this one.
Yep.
So let me grab my old man readers here because that has been
I can. Well, while you're doing that, I can tell you that I'm halfway through my quest. I have located 2 copies of the Psychotronic video guide.
oh
Yeah. So I'm just debating which one and then I'm gonna start going through the process of getting that shipped to me.
Okay.
So, yeah, I need
Is
to
it
have
the
my
same?
own little
Is it
arsenal.
the same one
It's
that I
the
have?
exact same one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But
Because I was
yeah,
gonna say
yeah,
I didn't know if there were other editions
yeah.
or whatnot.
No,
So.
no, it's only that one. There is an encyclopedia, Psychotronic video encyclopedia, which I was. I'm still doing the research. I'm trying to decide if I want to invest in that or not. But
Sure.
yeah, a new copy of that thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a used one because new copies are a bit pricey.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine.
But
Yeah.
I'm all about. I'm a card carrying member of Half Price Books, man. I my entire D&D library, like 3 rows of shelves worth of stuff is all Half Price Books. So
Yeah. No. That is a great place to. Maybe we can get them as a sponsor. It's a great place to pick up this kind of stuff. But okay,
yeah.
this one reads. So it's 1984. Cloak and Dagger. Nobody believes Henry Thomas after, and I guess it's noted like after E.T. when he witnesses an espionage-related murder. Dabney Coleman plays his father and the make-believe hero Jack Flack. It is loosely based on The Boy Who Cried Murder by Connell Woolrich, first filmed in the first filmed as The Window in 1949. Oh wow, I didn't know that. With Michael Murphy, John McIntyre, Jeanette Nolan, Robbie, and Christine Negra. Holland wrote Fright Night, Class of 1984, and others, and it was distributed by Universal Studios. Yeah, pretty straightforward. And I guess that is like a pretty. It's kind of funny. That's actually a pretty. I didn't even think about that. Like, it is a very The Boy Who Cried Wolf sort of story. Man, I don't know why I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't piece that together, but yeah, it's because they talk about it. I mean, they touch it briefly, but where he's like he's had where the dad says we've had incidents or we've had things. So yeah. Now that's
Well,
I didn't realize that. Dude, am I the only one that thought this was this not a Disney movie? I don't know why I thought.
No, it was not.
That's about the only thing that I think I misremembered. For some reason, I thought this was Disney. But everywhere I look, I was like, no, it's not at all. It's.
I can see why. I could see why you would think that though, because I feel like during this era of, what was it called? Bed knobs and broomsticks and movies like that, where the tone was a little, I don't know, I guess more slightly adult, but still like geared towards this fantastical sort of realm of like the kids will be fine, but yet they're in like peril. And
yeah. I think maybe because the kid is the main, he's the hero or whatever.
Right.
I guess maybe that's why I was thinking it was Disney. I mean, I don't know. Did you read? I read also that this has 2 release dates. When it came out the first time, it was actually a double feature with The Last Starfighter.
Oh, no.
In July of '84, and then it was re-released on its own in August of the same year in '84. So when you look at it, it shows it has 2 release dates.
Huh. No, I hadn't noted that. That is interesting though, because I was going to say this actually. I guess to sort of speak to a little bit of like the backstory of this, the game that they're playing in the movie that's listed as Cloak and Dagger, that actually is a game called Agent X. It's a real game, but I think that they made a custom like Cloak and Dagger screen. They may have re-released the game as Cloak and Dagger, but it was called Agent X, and so. That game was already in place. I think, like, based on what we were reading there, which is like this is based on a book, so they probably were like, well, let's call it Cloak and Dagger. It's funny because I did want to watch. I mean, I wanted to watch it because I hadn't seen it in a minute, but I did want to watch the audio commentary because I was interested to kind of hear a little bit behind it and the. So I don't know if you're familiar with like the writer, who's Tom Holland. But Tom Holland is like, I mean, he was a great. I mean, he's still alive, but I mean, he was a great like writer for a lot of movies that we're probably familiar with. So like, Child's Play. He did Fright Night. Are probably some of
Oh
the big
wow.
ones. He did like Psycho 2. He's done acting, but he's primarily been known for doing a lot of big writing
Screenplays.
stuff. Like, yeah, he even did like they re-released Child's Play. I think like in 2020, and he like wrote that, which I mean was kind of fun. I know he did some Stephen King stuff. He did Tales from the Crypt. Fright Night,
Oh
probably
man.
his bigger thing. Class of 1984, which is a pretty messed up movie, but pretty good. The Beast Within. So he is like a champion of, I would say, the video store as far as like some of the movies that he has put out.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, those titles you're mentioning are
Yeah, and so he's on the audio commentary about about this movie, and I did listen to a little bit of it, but I I was like, oh, I can't watch it 2 times in a row. I just got stuff I need to do, but I did listen to a little bit, and he obviously hits the point of what I was going to say about this movie just in general, which is like this movie is very adult for a kids PG movie, but he talked about
yeah,
how like
yeah.
he was like, I don't see what's wrong with making movies like that. And he's like, and we can't make movies like that anymore, of like a kid having like a gun pointed at him, or like kids in danger, or kids being shot at. He's like, it's not like he wants the kid to die, but it ups the stakes enough where like you care, right? And
Yeah.
he was
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
he was very like, yeah, you would never be able to make a movie like that nowadays. Like, and there were so many things about this movie, like the fact that the kid has like a water gun pre like putting the orange tips on guns and stuff like that.
Oh
He
yeah, yeah.
was carrying around that, and yeah, there's like a fair amount of
That,
things
that's
that.
that's how it was back then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it kind of speaks to, it was like a different time in that like you really wouldn't think much like and we won't go through every beat, but like when the kid in the very beginning is in an awesome video store, I guess, like, or I don't think it's a video store, it's like a
It's a game store.
it's a game store, yeah. And it's funny because I don't know if you recognize
I got wrapped up looking at the background and all that.
yeah, which is kind of funny, right? Because it feels like a massive product placement for Atari, but at
Yeah.
the same time it's like whatever.
There was I saw Atari and D in
Yeah.
the background. Yeah, and I was just like, man, that's like a store. I don't know. I don't remember having a place like that we could hang out at the mall, but it was kind of a because we would go hang out in Walden Books for the book stuff.
Yeah.
We'd go to I think, I don't know if GameStop was already a thing back then, but
No, I think we had like, what was it? It was like Babbage's, or we had like a
Babbage's was
we
one.
had, yeah, where they would have computer games but also computer software. So that's where
Yeah.
you could go and buy your like Excel and other like spreadsheet programs.
That's
or whatever.
right. That's right.
And then there was like a small section for like games, but nothing like this. Like this place in the movie is specifically for games, D&D gaming, like because there's a lot of TSR stuff in the background as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I mean, purely like a lot of Atari stuff. I mean, it really is like the ultimate kid like fantasy store.
Yeah, that was the hangout.
Yeah, and the guy who's running that shop has befriended these kids, and
Yeah.
they're
Morris.
just kind of, yeah. I don't know if you recognize who Morris is.
Yes, I did. The voice
Oh, you did?
gave it away to
Okay.
me. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny
William
because
Forsythe.
I didn't like until I had to look it up, and then I was like, oh wait, what? I was like, that's him. And it was funny because, again, I'd listened to the audio commentary just a little bit. Tom Holland, and the Joe Lynch, who's he's like a director that grew up, I guess, watching this movie. So he was like sort of doing the the moderating on that commentary, but they're talking about how like, oh man, look at Bill Forsyth there. He's like, yeah, he even put on like the extra 20 pounds for the role, even though like he was like, I mean, he didn't really have to. He's like, but he really wanted to play the part.
The nerd with the bottle. What do they call it? Like bottle Coke?
Coke, yeah, the Coke bottle.
Coke, yeah, the lenses on his glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, so like the first probably about like 15 minutes of this movie is just like epic in the sense of like, that's why us as kids were like super hooked into a movie like this. Cause like I kind of forgot about the beginning where it's like a whole, it actually reminds me of the beginning of True Lies where they're like sneaking into like an event and you know, they're being spies or whatever. But it's funny because like I had to watch it the second time and pay a little bit more close attention, especially when I was listening to the audio commentary. But like I didn't notice that like when the movie's starting, right, and there's like these Russians that are standing outside of some sort of I don't know, some sort of place that I guess they're guarding. And then Jack Black like comes in on his parachute that literally has like an American flag on it.
American flag.
Yeah. But it's like there's Russians there, but then there are Nazis that are also like standing by because like I guess like all the tropey like villains because they're they were dudes speaking German. But then I was like, wait, but that's like a Russian flag? That's like a communist flag in the background. And then I realized, I was like, oh, that's right. This whole like intro is literally like a kid's imagination of a D&D operation. Like, and I kind of forgot that that's what the whole opening sequence is. Which is pretty awesome.
Initially, I did the same thing initially. I was like, why the hell would we have... Why would the spies be there with a U.S. parachute, like a U.S. flag, like parachute? You know, like I was like, and then it kind of goes up, like he retracts it back, and I was like, oh wait, and then as it kept going along, I was like, oh wait a minute, and I did the same thing. I was like, I totally forgot that it's actually Davy's imagination playing out, in his mind.
Yeah, because then like the Iranians show up, and then you're like, wait, what? What is going on? And then like it's really funny because, I guess like when the whole sequence plays itself out, and there's like a woman that tries to assassinate like Jack Black, and then it turns out that is the little girl's character in the game, and like. And the guy Morris, right? The guy that runs the video store, he's the DM, so he's trying to classically trap. Like it's basically like, which is kind of funny, but he's playing like a D&D scenario, but it's like everybody against Davy because like they're just tired of Davy winning like the campaigns all the time.
Yeah, like when you see the dice rolling and then it kind of goes into like the out of the imagination scene, and then they're like he was like, it's the dice. I didn't I'm not cheating, kind of thing.
That actually was really cool, and it kind of like threw me off just for a second because I was like, oh, that's right, when the giant dice kind of come rolling through. That is such a cool like way to sort of play out that whole opening sequence scenario, right, of like how it transitions from these giant dice and this kind of crazy scenario into now they're inside the video store, and Morris is kind of like upset. He's like, I'll come up with another scenario next week and I'll get you. Like it's a cool little friendship between like the three of them. It's like I said, it's every kid's fantasy. And it's funny because the other part of it, I was going to say, almost to ground it just a little bit. I forgot there's like a screen in the beginning where it says San Antonio 1984, but then it specifically says summer 1984. And so it almost like lets you know these kids are on summer break. And I remember that because I remember when we had summer break, I mean, we were out by mid-May and we didn't go back in until like after Labor Day. So I mean, we
Yeah.
had like almost all of May, June, July, August, and then most of September. I mean, we had like a better part of like almost 4.5, 5 months of summer. And what do you do in that amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was really cool that like they sort of framed that, and so I guess it really related and resonated with us. But yeah, it's that whole opening sequence is pretty awesome. I think the one thing that is kind of funny, I don't know if you there are like obviously there's tons of product placement with the Atari stuff, but there is like a sequence where there's like a big not a big thing, but there's like an Atari poster in the background. It's like a poster slash calendar thing, but it
Right.
has like ET on it, and then like the kid from ET is standing in front of it. So that
Ah, I
was kind
missed
of
that.
like that
Yeah.
was kind of funny, even though that game was like garbage.
Trash.
That yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
The infamous
obviously
burying of video game story.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, I loved that whole opening sequence, and then they go like on their little mission. That again that cool little relationship with Morris of like, hey, go to whatever the Tektronics or whatever
Yeah.
place to go get me these parts or whatever. And they were like, man, that's lame. You know, we need like a mission. And so I really appreciate how he's like, okay, he's like, you got to go to the thing and get me like the Twinkies out of the vending machine. But then he like puts some sort of side
Yeah.
spin story on it.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Oh,
There's a
that's
secret
right.
mission. There's a secret
Message in it
something message
inside
in the Twinkies.
inside the Twinkie. So like, don't let anybody. And it's funny because I remember when we were young. I remember like we always wanted walkie talkies. I think even prior to this movie, or maybe
Yeah.
in part because of this movie, because we always wanted to do those sorts of things. And so I always
Yeah.
thought it was kind of funny that between like it's Kimmy, right? Is the or
Kim.
Kim
Yeah.
like between Kim and Davy, like it's kind of funny because I could hear between us and Mario of the on the walkie-talkie, and we're talking like in walkie-talkie talk, and
Yeah.
then Kim is kind of like, what do you want? And he's like, come on, play right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Play
like
right.
the phrase play right is like something that super resonated because I remember being so mad whenever we would play with either other kids or within us, and it's like, you know, we had like call names or whatever,
Yeah.
and we're doing like our little missions or whatever, and then it was like you do your thing and you're like, come on, you're supposed to be playing right. Like it's just that idea and that phrase, like
Yeah.
I think is like the maybe the most poignant part of this movie of like I don't know what it's like to be a kid through the perspective of all this. And I think that
Yes.
that's what makes it really cool is like when it does turn into a spy espionage movie, it legit is a movie, a spy movie, but it's only just through the eyes of the kid. And so that's why the whole cry wolf, you know, sort of thing actually really works because you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna like it's a kid, you know, it's a kid with an imagination. Like so
Yeah. Yeah.
why would I listen to any of this, you know? Yeah. It's it really kicks off really well. I think there are quite a few things that I kind of wanted to touch on just because even though like obviously it is a the first like 20 minutes is like awesome because like it's that little mission and then he meets with Morris and then they kind of go to the Tektronic stuff and then like there's like other adults and then they literally or at least like I guess Davy is like witness to a murder and immediately they like shoot at him and it's like, man, this
Oh
like
yeah.
just went to 11 like really fast. And that whole sequence plays out. But the part that I actually thought that was kind of interesting that as an adult and watching it in retrospect, because I think the beginning is like, it's almost like written as a very classic, you know, spy movie. But when I guess they call the police and like the body's already missing and everything's kind of already like played out. and
Yeah.
now the police have taken like Davy home to the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like the part about like why Davy is the way that he is, partly because apparently his mom has passed away
Yeah.
recently
Yeah.
and now is in a single household, and the dad works like double shifts, and
Yeah. He's an air traffic controller.
yeah,
So like or the whatever project,
yeah,
like
that they're
he's
working
he's
on.
at work all the time. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I have a couple notes. I was like, I think we're going down the same path here.
Yeah. That was some heavy shit like at the very beginning. And
Yeah.
on top of that I was like, wait, so he's letting his kid just kind of hang out in the summer by himself without no
Yeah.
parental supervision? I was
Yeah.
like, man, this is
Dude, they're all over. They're all over. Like they're just kind of roaming San Antonio.
yeah.
They have their bus passes, and they're
Yeah.
just kind of free to roam. I mean, that was exactly how you and I grew up. I mean, mind you, we didn't go roaming into town or nothing because our neighborhood was a little bit outside of like the downtown.
It was more spread out. It was just
Harlingen. Yeah, yeah, we were a little more spread out, but we used to walk to the mall.
right.
I mean, and go to the mall. Like I remember the note, like in my note taking, a lot of it was like they're home alone. Like they have like when the cops drop off, they want to talk to Davy's dad, but they're like, "Are you good?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I have a key." And she lets Kim is younger than Davy,
Right.
and she like
And
the cops
are like,
release
you're
her.
fine.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't release her to a parental unit. They released her. They're like, "Are you good?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I got a key." And she lets herself in the house and like next door, and she goes and she's exit stage left, and it's like, I was just like, man, how fucking crazy,
Yeah.
that like I mean the circumstances were different. I think it was like two single parents, but
Right.
we grew up with two working parents, so we
Right.
basically had key to the house.
Right.
Get home off the bus, and you just walk down the block to the house, and you
Yeah.
let yourself in, and it was whatever. And I was just like, man, it just seeing that played out in the movie reminded me so much of our childhood, where it was like mom and dad are working. I mean,
Right.
mom was at LVN working at one hospital, and dad ran the maintenance department of another hospital, and we just
Right. Well, and
we
he
were
worked a
doing
lot
our
of. He did all his odd jobs in the evenings to make extra money, and
Yep.
and then even before mom was a nurse, like she was doing her day job, and then she was going to night school to become a nurse, and
Yeah.
so that was like the majority of our childhood. And I mean, yeah, I liked the framing of this, and it also kind of relates a little bit to a movie that Denise and I watched recently, where it's like what I kind of miss about movies like this, and especially a movie that's just kind of fun like this, and if you want to be one of those types of people that watches movies and just tries to find like, why would they ever do that? Why would they allow this? Why would they do this? Why would they do that? It's like, yeah, it's not the point of the movie. Like, it's immersive in the sense of like, it's a encapsulated like story, and then everything just sort of happens. Like everything after the day after this incident, right, where he's like witness to a murder.
right.
The entire movie takes place in one day. I don't know if you remember, or if you remember that. At least
Oh,
I'm pretty sure, because so like the next, like they take him home, the cops take him home. Davey has that conversation with his dad, which gets super intense, and he even tells his dad like, "I hate you," and
Yeah.
then like it's like, man, that's kind of rough. Like they have that whole sequence, right? And you
Yeah,
can tell
yeah.
that the dad is kind of like, look, I'm trying to do my best.
Yeah.
Your mom was kind of good at the letting your imagination sort of run, but it's clear that that's actually what kind of adds to the boy who cried wolf, is like clearly the kid is struggling with the fact that his mom is gone, and he already had like a very like rampant imagination, and clearly he is dealing with like this emotional trauma that his like his distraction mechanisms are at high gear. so that it kind of explains why he wants like Morris and Kim and all these people to sort of play right and play because he
Yeah.
needs the distraction because
Yeah.
and again, none of that is like said. It's sort of just implied through the acting and the story. And man, I really love that because again, I like Time Bane. It's I don't need all this explained to me. Like I just need the movie.
Yeah.
Like you kind of piece that together as the movie goes along, and I really really like that because
Yeah.
as things progress throughout the movie, and then it kind of like I said, I'm almost sure that once the next day, once they start trying to find Davy because I remember he has his grenade or his baseball
Yep.
that has his name written on it, and then they're able to like sort of pin down where this kid is. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of a genius way to sort of spin that up, to be like, well, we got his name because, like, oddly enough, I remember putting our name on baseballs and softballs because Dad would
Yeah.
get mad if we like lost them or,
Oh,
because
yeah.
like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was like, I'm not going to pay for like another like softball or whatever if you guys can't like keep track of
Yeah.
all our
Keep
toys.
yeah.
and
Keep
all.
track of your toys.
Yeah, which
Hell yeah.
which funny enough, I still do to this day because of Dad. Like when I buy a battery or something for my power tools, I'll write like Luna on the bottom of them.
Yep.
So that way,
Yeah,
if
all
I ever
his
loan
stuff
them
had
out,
Luna. Yep.
yep. And I do the exact same thing because I'm like, oh, if I ever loan it out or if it somehow ends up somewhere else, I'm gonna be, oh, that's mine, like or whatever. Not because like it's more because like I just will forget where I put stuff, but. So it was kind of funny that he puts his name on the softball because it was like, oh yeah, that we did the same thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that from the morning of where they show up at the house, the spies show up at the house to try to get the cassette or the game to the very end, it's all one day. Like everything happens in a
Yeah.
24-hour period,
Yeah.
which is awesome because again, it doesn't give you enough time to try to, well, why wouldn't they do this? Why wouldn't they do that? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, the dad even says at the beginning, he's like, I got to work a double shift today. Like, this is a big project.
Yeah.
It's an
I'm off
important
tomorrow.
thing.
Yeah. Double shift today.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I'm off
I'm
tomorrow.
off
We're gonna go
tomorrow.
we're gonna go see the doctor. I already made an appointment.
Yeah,
Get through the. Yeah. We'll get tomorrow. Will be good. Yeah. Yeah. That's
we'll
right, man.
restart.
That is an entire day's worth of action.
Yeah. And it's great because that's what we need. We don't need this extended sort of like, oh, and this is the story of this. And like, I mean, honestly, we don't even know what the hell is on this Atari game. Like what secrets, all we know is that like these people really want it,
Yeah.
And I think like at some point Morris opens up the cassette and he's like, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
this
there's
isn't- this
there's
isn't normal.
extra data storage microchip in here.
Yeah.
And then-
he's like,
and
man,
then
this is
he-
pretty
so he just, like-
sophisticated stuff,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and then he was just like, yeah, they're trying to figure out the code or they're trying to figure out what it is, and that's when he tells him he gave him a number, and then Morris just starts playing. He just starts playing the game. He's like, all right, well maybe it's in another level or something, and yeah, I totally didn't catch the whole day thing. That's interesting.
yeah. I mean, it really adds to things because really at that point, right, it's just an adventure story of these kids going through the city. And I think there's like a lot of points that we could speak to there, but I think like, just kind of some of the funny things that I think I kind of noted there was like, as he, as things sort of ratchet up because like at that point, the spies they're onto him. They know who he is. I guess they know where he's hanging out.
Yeah.
They've they've taken Kim as a hostage,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, because she goes to the house looking for Davy, but Davy's already left because of the attack on the house,
Right.
and that's how she gets caught. So
yeah, and then it's funny enough, but through the walkie talkies is how they communicate with the spy dudes or whatever, which is again really awesome.
the henchmen.
Yeah. Which man, these guys are like, these are probably some of the classic henchmen that I think we'll run across because like the guy in the tracksuit, I don't even think he talks in the movie. He just kind of grunts like, "Ugh," like,
Yeah.
Like or he'll be like, "Hey kid," but that's the extent of like his dialogue. So you had like the smart guy, or I guess the guy who's like sort of the brains of the henchman, and then the muscle, because the other
Yeah.
guy's like the big brawny sort of guy,
Yeah.
and the other guy's kind of like the skinny guy with like all the plans, and then they're running point for that other guy or whatever. So yeah, you kind of see them run around the city. It's really funny because the things that reminded me, or I thought that were kind of funny, is just how like it. Well, for one, not very many movies that I can think of have ever been filmed in San Antonio. It seems like they really highlighted San Antonio in a way that's like actually
Yeah.
kind of cool, and it's kind of a
Yeah.
little surprising that there aren't more movies that kind of take advantage of that. I'm sure there probably is.
Yeah.
I maybe can't think of them, but
Miss Congeniality.
oh, that's right. That's what I was thinking.
That's in
Yeah,
San Antonio.
that's right.
But that's pretty recent compared to this.
Yeah. But it's funny because San Antonio has always been, and San Antonio is a great city. I mean, I've
Oh,
been
for
a couple
sure.
times now, like as of more recent, and because the population of not only San Antonio but like all of Texas is really like just skyrocketed to the point where like Austin and San Antonio are now almost becoming one giant mega city because everything between Austin and San Antonio is so filled in now.
Yeah.
Like with New Braunfels and like all the other
Yeah.
sort
San
of
Marcos and
San
everything.
Marcos,
Yeah.
everything in between is so dense now that like you almost can't tell when you're
Yeah.
leaving Austin into San Antonio. Whereas when we were younger, you could always be like, "You're leaving San Antonio," and now it's kind of like there's not a whole lot going on.
There's nothing. Yeah. There was pretty dead. And then the next
Until
big town was
Austin.
Austin.
Yeah,
But you
And
could,
s-
yeah, that was like, there was a boring part of that drive. And now
Right.
there's a bunch of stuff in between where, I mean, the only way, I mean, like, obviously, if you're keeping track of the time, it's the distance, is still
Right.
the same. But, now there's like a Buc-ee's and,
right.
I mean, San Marcos has always been there. So, like, Texas State does kind of envelop a good part of that area. But yeah, I remember growing up, there was like a lot of dead travel time
Yeah,
when we would go up to like San Antonio or Austin or whatever. It
Yeah,
was just
and
like, we would take naps because there was nothing to look at.
right.
You
And
know?
I think that's what made San Antonio kind of quaint because of the fact that it was like kind of on its own. And so like this movie kind of really highlights that because like the locations that they go to, I'm pretty sure are all legit. Like I think the Japanese sunken garden
Sunken
area
Gardens.
that they are at, like that's a real place that's there. The Riverwalk is a real place. Like
Yeah,
when they're
the
on the bus
Alamo.
going through they go to the Alamo. Like all the locations that they go to, it's great because those are real places and they really fit in well with the whole moving storyline. And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because like when he's I guess when Davy's negotiating with like these guys or whatever, and he ends up running away from them, and then he kind of goes into the touristy area. It's kind of funny because he goes to the Riverwalk and he's running away from them. But the thing that I noted more than just the Riverwalk itself, but it's kind of funny how they really nailed how tourists are in San Antonio because I want to say like Denise and I were there not too long ago. Like I think we went to mom and dad's for like the Christmas or New Year's holiday, and I think we drove back through and we stopped in San Antonio for a night, and we stayed there, and I think we met up with some friends and we watched a movie and we just kind of went on the Riverwalk and we were just kind of like spending the
Sure.
afternoon there, but like it's a huge touristy town, more so than I remember, where there's a lot of people. Like there were German people and there were people from Japan and there were people from obviously Texas or other parts of the country, and so there's like this big like melting pot of
Yeah.
people that were there, and it's
Oh,
kind of
sure.
funny because you kind of get that in this movie when he's running away from the
henchman.
the henchman, and like when he hides underneath the table and there's like people eating lunch, and he's
Yeah.
like, you got to help me, like they're trying to kill me, you got to call the FBI, and he's like, oh. Yeah, we can do that. And then he grabs like the salt shaker, the touristy guy. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of being a little bit of a dick, and he's like, yes, give me a line to J. Edgar Hoover right away.
Yeah.
And the woman's like, he's been dead for years, and he's like, what? He's like, oh no,
Yeah,
And
can't
he-
help you, kid.
Yeah, and but the way he's looks and dressed in his like touristy shorts and like Hawaiian looking shirt or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
man, that look for some reason still like resonates and hits the vibe of San Antonio of like, I guess when people think they're on vacation in San Antonio, they can dress really terrible. And like it was just like kind
Yeah.
of funny because then when they get on the boats in the Riverwalk, the same thing kind of happens. Like everybody's like in this very like touristy wearing like the bucket hat kind of look and I don't know, it was just there was something
Yeah.
about the whole like Riverwalk sequence, not so much about the boats because it's like, oh yeah, I remember the boats and all that jazz, but like the people and the tourists and all that stuff. It's like, man, they I don't know if they did their research or they had like a San Antonio person to be like, oh yeah, this is kind of the types of people we run into or whatever,
Yeah.
or hell, maybe they'd use people that were just there, and
Yeah,
they're like, hey,
maybe.
you want to be in a movie? Like, just
Yeah, we
need you
need
to do
extra.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we get $100 to just sit in this boat here.
yeah. But yeah, the stakes in this movie and the whole sequence where they're basically trying to, I guess they make the exchange for Kim and the cassette, but then I think they go back to the store and Morris is like
Yeah.
dead, or they assume Morris
Well,
is
yeah,
dead.
yeah. The video game cartridge had like the stamp or the logo sticker on the back of the cassette. That's how he knows it's a fake because it says, I forgot the name of Morris's game store, but it had a sticker on the back of this, so that he was
that's
like,
right.
it's fake, like this ain't it.
Right.
But they know where to go, so then they go back to the game store because of the address, and that so like the bad guys kind of stop chasing because now they know where they're going, and then that's where they go to find the actual
The correct
the
cartridge.
the correct cartridge with the spy plans. Yeah,
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of an intense sort of, what would they call it? Cat and mouse sort of chase
yeah,
for
yeah,
like
yeah.
a bulk of the movie while they're kind of like going between things. And, yeah, it's funny because then that leads up to, which is kind of funny because I remember this, but I remember going back and watching or thinking in my mind of when we watched this when we were young, and for some reason this really resonated with like the first time I watched it. But so like they're trying to get away from the henchmen. He sort of befriends this older couple that look pretty innocent on the Riverwalk, but then they meet again at the Alamo, and they see this kid, and they're like, man, this kid seems to be kind of in trouble, and
Yeah.
they're kind of like grandpa looking folk, and they seem innocent enough. And then it turns out like they are the actual like the main spy people that are
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to get this cassette. And I remember as a kid going like, wait, what? Like kind of completely being thrown off. And I feel again, like Tom Holland really used the trope of let's get some real grandma and grandpa looking like folks to kind of
Yeah.
throw off the scent. Because I remember when I was watching this more recent time, I was like, man, what a twist. Like, I think that's like a really cool twist. When they're like, hey, we'll help you out, kid. What's the deal here? Like, finally, somebody's listening to this kid,
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly. He's like,
and
no adults are listening to me.
yeah, the cops won't listen, the dad won't listen, but then it makes sense that the older people would listen, right? Like the grandma or grandpa, they give that
Oh, for sure.
nurturing sort of, oh yeah, we'll help you. And so when that twist happens, I was just like, man, that is so good. Like,
Yeah,
because what was it that? Oh, it's when they're leaving the Alamo,
yeah,
and they're helping him out. That they chloroform the kid.
yeah, yeah.
Which
I
is-
totally forgot. I forgot the twist. I remember it didn't hit me because, like, in the Riverwalk chase when they're first there, because I don't think they had any reason to be there. There was going to be a because like there was nothing played out yet as far as an exchange of it because they didn't have the cartridge yet at the time. The bad guy, I forgot the doctor's name or the character's name. But so it was just like by chance that I guess the actual old people spies were were there and they just happened to catch that scene.
Right.
But then, but at the Alamo is when like there's the actual exchange is happening. And it didn't hit me until I saw that the old man was carrying the camera case. That was exactly like the one that the other guy had. And I was like, that's when it hit me. I was like, oh shit, that's right.
As an adult, you're like, that makes sense that they would have the exact same ones. But as a kid, you're like, oh man, what a great like coincidence that they happen to have the same carrying case. Oh yeah. I feel like, man, I just feel like it's so well done for somebody of a younger age, right?
Hell yes. I had that moment. I think I laughed because I immediately thought of the Princess Bride when Montoya gets captured or whatever, or no, I'm sorry, the main character, man, what is his name? Wesley gets caught, and then he sees the guy on the horse with the 5 fingers. He's like, "Oh, you have 5 fingers. I know somebody looking for you." And then when like I guess he hears him when he's hiding in the trunk, and they're like, "I don't know anything about these people. All I know is that one of them's got 3 fingers."
Oh yeah.
And then when the ladies when they're in the car and she's taking her glove off, I swear to God, dude, I had that moment where I was like 11 again. She took off the glove. I was like, "No way."
Yeah, exactly.
It was fucking crazy. I laughed at myself after. I was like, really, dude? Like I kind of like I stepped out of myself for a minute. I was like, really? But I chuckled at myself because it was already like after midnight, and I was watching this, and I think I freaked out myself because I think I did it loud enough where I was like, oh shit, I don't want to wake anybody up. But I was like, no way, I totally forgot. but then I laughed because I was like, man, this is what this movie's about, dude. That's why we're doing this stuff, because it brought back that memory, and I was just like laughing. I had such a good time, and I was watching it by myself, but I still had a great time.
Yeah, it was funny because like that sequence in the car after they leave the Alamo, like I also remember that being like up there with some of the scariest things I remember seeing as a kid, because everything that you know about being a kid and being safe with like especially older like grandparental types would never do this. And then the fact that they chloroform the kid, but also like it feels very like the way it was filmed and the way it's kind of like, I don't know, like it feels kind of like the Willy Wonka like ride in the tunnel where like it just kind of gets dark and sort of like creepy. That whole sequence feels that way. Like it feels like the sun is setting. I mean, you can tell that it's filmed. It's not filmed on location. It's filmed like in a sound studio, and it's lit a very particular way. But now it feels like it's getting darker, and the camera is like you're looking up on
from his eyes.
Yeah.
It's like he's looking up at the he's looking up at the adults while they're talking. The camera angle changed. I did notice that.
Yeah.
That's just like you're like they put you in it.
Right. Because now as you realize what's about to happen, you're like, oh man, like there's no getting out of this. And you're in the worst situation you can be in. And yeah, that whole sequence in the car, like really resonated with me, where I was just like, man, that was super effective, to the point where like, kind of like what you're saying about the twist there with the fingers. I just remember that whole sequence kind of feeling very like your stomach drops, because you're like, oh no, like there's no getting out of this, like basically. And then the fact that like the way she chloroforms right into the camera, and then you just like fade to black. It's just like, I mean, honestly, there's a couple ways to think about this, right? Like as a kid, it feels terrible. In a D&D scenario, you're like, you've been caught. The DM has gotten
the DM's got you.
and now you're at the will of the DM, and like everything about that just works like super well. And so I mean, that kind of leads to the end, or I mean to the back part of the movie, where like, you know, where the heroes are, you know, just kind of trying to figure out, you know, how they're gonna kind of get out of this. And like it's funny because like the kid loses his or Davey loses his bus pass, so he has to kind of go through the rough side of San Antonio to try to get to the airport
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're trying to. He's trying to. Well, yeah. So they have. Oh, how does it? How does it? Oh, that's right. The goons basically tell Davy that there is there is a bomb that Kim
Well, he
has.
overhears them. Yeah, he overhears them because
Oh, that's right. That's right.
he's
In the
escaped
trunk.
out of
Yeah.
the trunk, and he hears them talking before they discover he's not in the
Mm-hmm.
trunk because they were gonna bury. Oh yeah, because Morris gets killed and he's in the trunk
Right.
and he's in there, and so when they come looking for him, that's where he overhears them talking about there's like C4 in the walk. Well, he doesn't say the walkie-talkie. He said there's going to be a big explosion, blah blah blah. So he knows Kim's in danger, but he also knows that she's on her way to the airport to try to stop the old couple from leaving at midnight. And it was one of those like Bond moments, like they're talking, they pretty much give away the rest of the plan.
Yeah.
Talking outside the car.
Yeah.
So now he knows that there's a flight at midnight. They're leaving this. There's an explosive somewhere going on. Kim's in danger.
Yeah.
It's like the final, like this is the final level. We
Yeah.
gotta, yeah. That's right. That's how he gets. So before he gets to the rough side, to the taxis, that's where they go through the Riverwalk again one more time. And I remembered all that where like there's the henchmen get killed.
What was it they called he gives it a name like
the gambit, something gambit.
Oh, that's right. The cross gambit or something like, right?
Crossfire. Yeah, crossfire gambit. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you remember crossfire gambit? Let's do that. And,
yeah, but it's funny because in that sequence, it's like what he is describing. It's like, dude, that is gonna get you killed. Like he's practically telling the kid, if you do this, like it's high stakes but high stakes but high reward. And all I kept thinking was like, dude, they would never let a movie like this get made because he's effectively telling the kid like, hey, draw the fire so that he'll shoot this other guy. And it's like, wait, what? Like, that's insane. But it works,
It works, dude, because at that point it's a spy movie. It's not a kid movie anymore.
Yeah.
It just, the main act, the protagonist just happens to be a kid. But
Exactly.
it's a spy movie.
Yeah.
Espionage. It's everything.
Yeah.
He just happens to be 11.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Yeah. And so it's kind of funny because I wrote down a couple quotes from the movie that I kind of like. So just to go back real quick, because it was one of my favorite, like, sort of like acting sequences in the whole movie. But when he's in the trunk and they get in the car and then Davey drives the car and obviously he's like a little kid and that giant ass boat of a car, like this 1970s bruiser of a car. It's like it's so big that he can't reach the pedal, so he's having to like he's having to stretch all the way out to touch the pedal. But it's kind of funny because like Jack, his imaginary friend, is in the back seat, and so he's just telling him, like, oh, put it in drive, put it in reverse, like he's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And or no, I think it's like they're only in drive, and so then he's like, put it in reverse. And then like Davey's like, I don't know. Like, how do I do that? And then like, I love it because Dabney Coleman, like he's got this like kind of like childish, like, I don't know, childish mood about him. Cause he's kind of like almost like giddy. And he says, he's like, I don't know, this is actually a real car. Like I've never done this before.
Never done this.
Yeah. And so the way he says that is just awesome. But that also speaks to, going back to what you were saying, the Riverwalk, man, I forgot how, because it's funny when he says that in the car, when he's like, well, I don't know, this is a real car. I've never really done this before. I forget that is effectively Davey's, like, that's his conscious, like saying that, like that is his imagination so fired up that he's like in like his brain. That's literally a visualization of his brain of how he's thinking. Because he's
the
like,
voice you hear in your head, it's
Jack
visualized.
Flack. Yeah, that's Jack Flack. And so
Yeah.
when he's like saying all these things, he's saying it also in a way of like this is scary, but I'm also kind of like, this is thrilling because this is everything I've ever asked for. I've always wanted this adventure and high
Yeah, yeah.
stakes, but he's also like scared, but he's actually critically thinking and doing the things that he kind of
Uh-huh.
knows.
Yep.
And so when they go back to the Riverwalk and like that whole sequence plays out with like the crossfire gambit and all these things or whatever, man, I kind of forgot how like that is probably one of the most, I don't want to say, well, maybe I will. I don't know if you ever saw the movie oh, was that Pixar movie, the one where all the personalities it's Inside Out. Yeah, that's what it is. Inside Out,
Uh-huh.
which is the one
Uh-huh.
where I guess you're seeing this movie where they talk about like your child side and like your adult side, and basically that whole movie is trying to visualize what it means to become an adult without you have to leave part of your childhood behind. And
Uh-huh.
there is like a character in that movie in Inside Out. It's actually one of the saddest things I've ever seen, which Pixar is great at doing, where like this character effectively goes away, but it's also like symbolizing that like it's something you have to let go in order to become an adult, right?
Right, right, right.
That's what that sequence in that movie sort of does. This movie effectively does that in maybe an even better way than a Pixar movie because what was it like? He does the crossfire gambit. He's able to get one of
Mm-hmm.
the guys killed,
Yeah.
but then he takes the gun from that henchman, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he's cornered by the other henchman who's literally going to shoot him
Yeah.
if he doesn't do something. And as a kid, he's like, I don't want to shoot. I don't want to kill anybody. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Jack Flack is able to, which again, they don't fully explain this, but I don't care, where somehow Jack Flack is able to, I guess, like make himself visible enough that the henchman sees him or he's like distracted by Jack Flack.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought about that too. I don't know if he ever actually saw him. I think because they keep showing Davey keeps looking that way because
Right.
like he's having a conversation with Jack Flack, right? He's having a conversation with his imagination.
Right. He's talking
And
out loud. Yeah.
He's
yeah.
talking out loud, yeah, and it draws the attention of Rice is the name of the bad guy, the
that's right.
main guy. I couldn't remember until now, but I think he's drawing because he's having this intense moment, like the kid's freaking out, obviously, and then he keeps talking to Jack and keeps looking that way, and Rice keeps like he's
you
looking
talking
like
to?
he's trying to
Yeah.
like who are you talking to? So he just assumes that there's something or somebody in the shadows because it's like he just kind of shoots blindly in that direction.
Right.
I don't think he ever actually saw him.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Because I
didn't
think
about that.
it was just the way, like I mean, if you were to see somebody talking to themselves like at HEB right now, you would instinctively kind of
Look
like
to see
look
who
into
are you
like who
talking
like
to.
is he talking to somebody? So I think in that moment where it's like the adrenaline's high, everything's. I think that it was just he's just okay. I'm just gonna shoot that way because he's something has his attention.
Right.
I think it was more that.
Well, and I think you're totally right because I forget that they set all this up because earlier in the movie, like Davey has a fake gun and shoots that guy Rice with like
Right.
squirt blood or whatever.
like ink, ink or something.
Yeah, and so he's like, "Oh, you're gonna shoot me with your ink gun again?" Like he's like, "That's not a real gun." So he's taunting him, even though he knows he's gonna kill him, and he's
Yeah.
probably just assuming that like, "Oh, that's just a squirt gun." So I think you're right. Like even though he shoots the wall or he shoots in a general direction, he's probably more concerned that there actually is somebody with a gun or like he's gonna get like ambushed by somebody else. So I think you're right that he just blindly shoots in that direction because he keeps like talking and turning in that direction.
Yeah.
So that whole sequence, I think, kind of going back to that Pixar thing. So he shoots the wall, which
Yeah.
effectively shoots like Jack Flack, but then
Yeah. In
he
Davy's
does,
eyes. Yeah.
yeah, he does shoot Rice, and it's funny because like he shoots him, and then like Jack Flack's like, "You did it, you're the hero, like you've done it, like you've won, we won the mission." Like I think he even says
Yeah.
that, like we won the
Yeah. Yeah.
mission.
Yeah.
He's like, we got to go
You,
save
you
Kim.
won. You won the game. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then like this adrenaline dump on this kid of like all this happening in real time. He's like, I don't want to play anymore. Like this shit
Yeah.
just like got super real. And he's like, what do you want? Like, this is everything you wanted. I don't understand. Like, you won the mission. You're the hero. All this stuff. Like, his brain is like telling him all these things, but the other side of the adrenaline dump is like so hardcore that he's like, I don't want to play anymore. And Jack Flack, like he was like, you know, he shot you, and he's like, no, I'm good. He's like, I guess he missed, you know, and he's got no bullets holes in him. But as he throws down the toy, the toy, that the little figurine that represents Jack Flack, when he throws it on the floor and he stomps on it, and he's like, I don't want to play anymore. Like, I want to go home.
Yeah.
And he has made the decision to kind of, like, I guess everything about what his parents and all the adults and people that have probably told him, like, hey, you need to, like, you need to be more responsible. You need to stop playing these kiddie games.
Yeah,
or
you need
whatever.
to grow up. Yeah. Yeah.
All that sort of comes to a stop when he throws the toy down. And it's funny because then Jack Flack's character starts to actually die.
To bleed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He essentially kills him.
Right, because
he dies. He dies. He doesn't kill him, but he dies.
Yeah, he is
like the he's fading away. He fades away
because he has decided to put that portion of his brain.
Yes.
To rest. Like he's like, I think that I have, like, the fantasy has lost its luster because I've now, like, it's trauma. I mean, it's literally just trauma. He's dealing with trauma. He sees Jack Flack die because he has decided that he wants to move on. And it's funny because Jack Flack says, like, as he's like dying, I wrote down the quote. He's like, learning when they stop believing, or wait, he says, like, leaving when they stop believing. He's like, oh, that's always the hard part. He's like, leaving when they stop believing. That's what Jack Flack says.
And he says something like, he's like, your dad. He references his dad. He's like, your dad said the same thing, or something like that. Right before that, because when he says, I don't want to play anymore, and he said, then he he's mad or whatever. And Jack Flack says the same thing. He says, your dad said the same thing when he was blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And that's when then it leads right into that comment, the statement the quote you just gave.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like that. It is basically the visual of, like, when we get to that point where, whatever it is that causes or leads to that, where we grow up and our imaginary friends just go away.
Right.
It's like that part of your brain just kind of, I don't want to say it doesn't go away. It's there, but it's like, I don't know, maybe something just kind of,
well, you have to kind of move on, right? But it doesn't mean that is gone forever. It just means, like, he's not gonna not remember that Jack Flack was part of his childhood. It's just not going to be part of his everyday, I mean, like, he was literally living the spy life, the kid, Davey, every day. Like, he just nonstop. And that's why Kim was like, oh my God, like, just ease off. Like, we don't have to play spy 24/7. And it's funny because this actually makes me think, going way back to the beginning of the movie, when the dad and Davey are having a talk about, like, the dad is telling him, he's like, I know you want to be a spy. I know he's talking to him about being an adult and being a spy, but he's like, you have to understand, like, being an adult means, like, providing, bringing food, making sure, like it's almost like he's telling him the transition that he had to do as an adult. And he's like, I'm not happy either that I don't have time to play with you, as well, but I have to work so that we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
have
yeah. Heroes,
we
yeah,
can pay the
heroes bring
rent.
food. Yeah, heroes, yeah, pay the bills and yeah.
Yeah, and I think that
Um,
actually ties back into this end sequence, which is like so well done that I kind of forgot about. I mean, I do remember that sequence happening, but in retrospect and watching it as an adult, all that I had to watch that sequence like two times because I was like, wait, what does he say? And like, I want to make sure I'm understanding all this correctly, because seeing the trauma of this kid having to deal with all this stuff that he kind of sort of deal with, like it all like works super well and resonates. And I'm just like, oh man, like that's some intense stuff, like for a PG
mhm,
kid movie,
mhm.
but not in a way that wouldn't make sense to most people. Like that actually works really, really well. And yeah, I thought it was, I thought it was like masterfully done. And that's not even the end of the movie. Like then there's still like another sequence that has to play
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
But I think that in itself, like I wouldn't say that that's where the movie could have ended, but it's so perfectly timed as it leads into
yeah. The final
into
boss
the
battle
final.
with the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you okay, so yeah, so that circles okay, so the Riverwalk thing ends, he's got to get to the airport. So when you a little while ago when you mentioned the whole the dirty side of San Antonio where he goes to finds the taxi driver, did you catch Louis Anderson?
Yes, I wrote that down. Like
I
it's
wrote it down
funny,
too.
such
I
a
was like, "Oh
small
shit."
side bit, yeah, where he's like one of the
He's the first taxi driver and he's like, "Hey, I ain't got no money, you're not getting a ride, kid." And like it was real quick. But I was like, I was like, oh shit, is that Louis Anderson? I'm like, yeah, it sure as hell is.
yeah,
Yeah, small role, small role. And then, so, quick little story, because the taxi driver, that agrees to take him, and then he's, he takes off. So that reminded me of my first duty station. I went to my army training at Fort Bliss, Texas, right? So then my first assignment, my first duty station from there was Fort Polk, Louisiana. And the first night, like we got in, like we got dropped off at the base, and it was we got there, so we go to the CQ desk, the charge of quarters, just the guy that answers the phones on the weekends. I mean, there's always somebody at that desk, right? So we go, me and three other guys. There's four of us, and we're still head shaved, and we're still the only clothes we have is military stuff. So we go to the front desk basically after they showed us where we were, our dorm rooms basically. We come back down and we're like, okay, so what do we do? And they're like, it's a 4-day weekend. Get out of my office. I don't care what you do. And they were like, oh, okay, but like, well, what do we do? And he's like, the sergeant at the time, because we're like all, buck privates, right? He's like, privates, I don't care what you do. You're off. Go do whatever. Just get out of my fucking office. He's like, just go away. Don't come back on Tuesday. So they on the countertop, there was a couple business cards for taxis. So he's like, just call a cab, go to town, do whatever. And so we ended up calling a taxi because we called from we used the phone there.
yeah,
And then sure enough, a cab shows up and the four of us climb in and the only thing that this scene reminded me of was that guy, our taxi driver. We kind of got to talking. We were like, yeah, it's our first day here, and like, where do we go? We're like, where's there to go? And he there was some bar, some club that he mentioned. So we were like, all right, but let's go there. And in Louisiana, it's like there's a stretch of road where there's like nothing. And we were like, we just kind of got to talking to him. And I don't know if this was true, but he said he was like a retired special forces guy. He might have just been playing up to the whole army private guys, So of course we're like, oh, that's cool, badass. And so then he was talking about like, yeah, I miss the days, the adrenaline, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, hey, you guys mind if I pick it up a little bit. And we were like, yeah, sure, you know. And he literally reaches over to the glove box, grabs out some like racing gloves, puts them on, and we started going like 100 miles an hour on this dark road heading to town. And it just made me think this guy, the character, the taxi driver that runs him to the airport, where he's like, hey, I got to get there. And he just kind of like speeds up and, you know, they get
that's
there.
right. He's like, do you think we could, I think he,
he's like,
right?
yeah, like someone's going to die. I got to get there as quick as possible. He's like, I got you. Yeah. He picks, and he kind of like floors it, you know, and it just made me remember, you know, 1992 or whatever, you know, it was 1992. That fall or whatever was when I was in Louisiana, and then I had a race car driving ex Special Forces taxi driver that put on racing gloves, and maybe it was just part of the show. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we ended up tipping him pretty good, but I mean, it just reminded me of that one night as my first night of freedom as a soldier, and we had a crazy taxi driver. So yeah, that scene had me laughing because I was like, I remember this crazy motherfucking taxi driver in Louisiana.
Yeah, man. But, I think that sums up. I think that sums up. Yeah, just about everything that makes this movie like awesome is just like, it's so grounded. Like those sort of like little scenarios. Every little component of this, like you were saying, even that taxi driver, because he's like, I had to go to the airport anyways. I'll give you a ride. Like he's cool to do it, whatever. And, I think he even tells him, he's like, I'll pay you when we get there. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, I had to go to the airport. Don't worry about it. No sweat it. Whatever.
It's on my way home.
Yeah. And so like, all these characters, like I was going to say, even just randomly before we wrap up here, like the guy who runs the riverboat that gives like the tour, like, hey, welcome to San Antonio, like even that guy was like, I mean, we've seen that guy like a million times, like that type of guy, right? He's like very proud of the city, and then like, sir, please sit down. I need you to sit down.
Sir, you need to sit down. Yeah,
like which is one random note I was gonna kind of add. Man, I kind of forgot how like in the 80s, whenever like something would happen, like instead of people like running away from it, everybody would run towards it. Like, so like when they're like, hey, make a distraction on the riverboat, and the one guy's like, fire, and everybody runs to where the fire is because they want to see it, not running away from it. And then the same thing happens when like they take the whole hostage situation and like everything kind of goes to shit at the end. Like everybody runs towards that because they want to see what's happening. That was the other thing too, when like in the very beginning when they're like the kids like, someone's been shot and murdered or whatever, like call the police. Like the security guy runs with the kid into the little like hallway,
the stairwell.
The stairwell. And then if you look in the background, like all the people are like crowded by the door because they're all like trying to look into, I want to see a dead body. Like it's like, what the hell, man? Like I kind of forgot, but that really was a thing, back in the 80s. I remember it's like, that guy's been shot, and everybody runs that way. Like they want to go like, I don't know if it's to help, but most people would just stand around because they want to see what's going on, which I mean, I think sadly kind of speaks to like the world that we live into now, right? Of like sensationalized TV of like, I want to see all the mayhem, sort of thing. It's like, why don't you get out of the way so like the police and the ambulance can do their job? But it just, I don't know, man. Like this movie just encapsulates so many things so well. I think before we jump over to decide whether this is like a top shelf video or not, which spoiler, I don't think this one's going to be super hard to go through, but if we had to, I think also it maybe will be very I don't want to say obvious, but if we had to pick somebody from this movie to work the video store, are we in consensus of who that person would be in this movie, or who? I guess I'll just ask it this way.
Are we going there now? I mean, are we?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we've. Okay. I think we've covered, the bulk.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll tell you what. Before we go into that, I really, the ending of the movie, I loved it. The dad ends up being the hero that he wanted. They were like, Davey had his imaginary Jack Flack, which I don't think it's a coincidence that in his eye it was basically his dad.
Right.
It was there was one in the same the person. And I think I loved the way it ended because, the dad ultimately does become the hero and does save the day. Even though I got to admit, man, I had forgotten how this movie ended. And I thought for a minute there, I was like, is his dad really going to fucking die when he's getting him out of, when he's dropping him out of the airplane?
Oh yeah.
To save him. And I was like, I was at the edge of the couch. I was like at the edge and I was like, is this really going to does he sacrifice himself for the kid? I was like, I don't remember. I don't remember how this ends. And so I was like sitting there going, there's no fucking way they're going to do this. They're not. I know it was the 80s, but I know they're not going to leave him like an orphan to end the movie. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
And so when I mean, mind you, the special effects weren't great, but at the end when he's coming, the dad basically is, walking away from the fire. Comes out of the, you just see the silhouette coming from the exploding, the plane explosion. And I was just like, oh, thank God. I was like, but I loved the ending because, I mean, it just kind of, I guess it tied, it closed, well, how do they say it? It closed the loop on the whole, he kind of sees Jack Flack kind of fade away. The imagination goes away, but that hero is basically replaced by his real life father because he saves him in the real life situation, and it just ends where now he has a real flesh and blood hero,
right?
And I fucking loved it. I mean, the ending was great. It was perfect.
Yeah, so. And I actually kind of like, maybe that's where the Disney sort of feel of it is, because that last shot, like you said, does it special effects wise, it's whatever, but clearly it's a hand drawn sequence at the end because as he comes out of the fire, the silhouette, it looks like Jack Flack with the beret.
Yes.
And then it changes a little bit, and then it still kind of looks like him, but now it's starting to morph into more of a person, and then now it just looks like a person. Now it looks like Jack Flack without the beret, but it still kind of looks like him, and he's walking the same, da da da. And then coming out of the shadow, it's the dad, and it's like, that's the hero, right? And as a kid, it's like, it's Jack who saved me, and it's like, wait, no, it was my dad, and just again how all that was played out, is really, really well done, and
yes, hell yes,
yeah. So I agree with you 100% on that. I think the ending, even for somebody who hasn't seen this movie before, they're like, wait, what is going to happen? Because there's a lot of factors that are there's a lot of tension right up till the very last minute. And I also kind of like how the movie just sort of ends. Like they embrace, they kind of everything, there's this big adrenaline jump, a dump of everything. And like I said, it is literally the end of the day. Like the clock.
Yes. Yeah.
It strikes at midnight.
It struck midnight. Yeah. Yeah.
In order for the scenario to play out. And so you get that real sense of oh yeah, this is it. We're done. So yeah, this movie just, so good on so many levels. But let's jump to who we would pick as a video store employee here. And that's what I was going to say is I don't know, would we be in an agreement that we basically just want to hire Morris to work at our video store?
Yes.
I mean, he's like the coolest dude. He treats kids really well, but also he would be like, oh man, I get to work with Morris today. It's sweet. He's just the ultimate employee. It's a real bummer that he gets killed in the movie, but I think you kind of had to kill him in the movie to really set the stakes, right? Of hey, this is real shit. This is real spy stuff. These guys aren't messing around. It's their first touch of oh, it's not a game, right? And they trying to stay on the mission, but we lost Morris. So I 100% think that we should have Morris in the video store.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. That was my first and only thought in which character would we want? Morris fits.
I mean,
He fits the video store.
if anybody is ever perfectly fit, it is Morris.
Yeah,
All his experience and everything that he brings,
yeah,
I mean, hell, maybe, we would expand to having a game section and he could sort of run all that.
yeah.
But, yeah, it's just, yeah. So yeah. Cause I was thinking, I was like, well, you can get a henchman or you can get whatever. Yeah, sure. But I think at the end of the day, like, no, you just want Morris.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, much like I think we all know that it's Morris. Like, do we both agree this is a top shelf video movie? Like, I think almost like without question.
Yeah. I would even argue to make it the first nomination in season 3 to be a top shelf select, to be honest. Because, I mean, this brought back so many kid happy, like, I want to watch this again. I want to see if my wife will watch this afternoon. I've got the rental for 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And I want, because I mean, there was some funny moments in the interaction between Davy and Jack Flack. It got, it had the dramatic stuff with the whole mom conversation, arguing with the dad, it had some comedic moments. It had some dramatic moments. It had action in it. A plot twist from hell. I guess, I mean, maybe not from hell, but a plot twist enough where I was like, I totally forgot about these old people.
Right.
And just, I don't know, man. It just, I have memories of this movie. I don't know. Maybe you can talk me off the ledge here, but a top shelf for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think just because of the joy it brought me last night, mm-hmm. at even as late as it was, I had that feel good moment at the end when it was like, I'm as an adult, I'm seeing it. I'm like, the kid has, like, his dad's the hero, and he saves the day. Even though the dad didn't have a big role, he was kind of like on the, the dad was like, I'm at work.
Right.
But he comes in at the end because he can't find his kid because his kids are roaming San Antonio.
But he cares. He cares so much about his kid.
He cares about him the whole time. But he's got to, like, I have to provide for us. It's not, your mom's not here to take care of this.
Well,
the childhood stuff.
And wouldn't it, as an adult, like us as adults now, say that is the hero, the people that provide and care about their kids and prioritize their kids. In the sense, like, he would be there if he could, but he has to work because he's a single dad now. So, like, it's almost like saying, hey, Davey, your dad is a hero because he's providing for you. He's allowing for you to have all of this. And like, even though he was kind of upset that, the cops got involved or whatever, it's not like he grounded him. Like, he talked to him. Like, he actually was like, I get it. I get it. I get that you're going through stuff, and so am I. And we got to get to this together. And that's why I want to get help, like a doctor to help, because I need help too. I don't know what to do here, right? Like, it's
he said, that's
hero, right.
He said, your mom normally handled this, and I'm trying.
Right.
And I mean, that was like I got choked up a little bit. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, the action continues. And then there's the hijinks ensues, and when he's trying to get away in the car, and he's like, perfect. You get that hand that like, he's like, well, that takes care of parking. You're getting like the little one-offs in the back. He's like, yeah, good job. And so, like, there's like those funny moments, and then the action. I mean, the kid's getting shot at with a silencer on the Riverwalk, and and then the action and the espionage stuff, and I just. Man, I don't know. So I'm saying top shelf select.
Well, I think we both agree that it's a top shelf. I think.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember. So I feel like top shelf selects, though, is sort of like because what we put a Raw Force in there. I want to say, because.
Okay.
It's not for everybody, but it is worthy, and it's a lot of fun. Like, Raw Force is, like, you want to watch that, but maybe more with an exclusive group of people. I feel like though.
Okay.
We want we want everybody to watch this movie.
Yes.
But it almost like it. I feel like, again, maybe we're just making up stuff now, but I feel like this is like
That's what we do.
This is it's our show. We do whatever we want. I almost feel though that this is like it is top shelf, but it's almost like I guess we could make up a new thing of it's a gold star top shelf, like because it really is like, not to say it's better than any of the others, but if somebody was to come in and would be like, I don't know what to watch today, I was like, why don't you start with this? Like, I would pull this one, especially if it's a family. I mean, there isn't anybody that I can't think of that, like, if you have youngish kids, like an 8-10-year-old, I'd be like, this movie is fine. Like, just know if you're a little sensitive to like kids being shot at or in moments of intense,
a little sensitive.
Yeah. If you're like they always say, what like situations of intense moments, right? They always like give you that warning. So I would say the same thing and be like, hey, just so you know, like, there can get some intense moments, but overall, it's pretty good. And then like if it was just like a young couple, or if it was like an older couple, or like people like our age, or even like our parents or whatever, like I think they would appreciate this movie because it's got like the James Bond sort of stuff, but from a kid's perspective. I mean, there's so many things about it that just make it like solid, from that standpoint. I want to make sure everybody sees this. So
okay, no, that's fair. I think reminding me that Raw Force is in Top Shelf Selects kind of recalibrates my perspective here. Yeah. So I think you're right. I'm gonna stand down. So Top Shelf, yes.
Okay, so that
Selects, no. Yeah.
Yeah. But I I feel like I said, it gets a little extra gold star on it because it is it probably has engaged us more than any other movie we've talked about thus far. And I didn't think I honestly didn't think that I mean, not that I didn't think it would. I didn't realize it was going to as much as it did. Because having just watched it yesterday, both you and I, like I had a lot of the same feelings too. And I mean, my notes just go on and on and on because I was like, I love this. I love that. This is great. I like this, this character and so on and so on. So
yeah,
I feel like we would be doing a huge service to a lot of people to let them know that, hey, this movie is out there.
Yeah.
And if you're unaware of it,
this is good. And
you need to watch it.
Yeah. What's the term we use it? It's aged well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, I get what you're saying. There is, I mean, you don't see hardly any, like kids getting shot at kind of thing. Right. But
so this is funny, but this is gonna be one of the few times. I don't know if this is still out there, but I'm hoping that it is. You need to buy this, and I'm going to show you what you need to buy. So the reason why, like, it's kind of funny because I don't think I would have thought about this movie for the podcast if I hadn't bought this, because I haven't thought about this movie in a long time. And I'm trying to, I don't know what would have engaged my brain to be like, hey, Cloak and Dagger, you haven't seen that in a while. It would have had to have been like, I would have had to have seen something that would have made me think like, oh man, I forgot about Cloak and Dagger. Like maybe if we had done 9 to 5 or something, right? And been like, hey, do you remember Dabney Coleman was in that one movie, Cloak and Dagger? We should do that. Like those things would have spurred it on. But so I want to say it was like a year or two ago that, and funny enough, so like there's all these brands that are out there that put out boutique movies. Arrow is a big one. Arrow's a big one. Then there's Shout Factory. They put out a lot of good stuff. And then there's Severin is another good one. There's 88 Film. There's Umbrella. There's all these brands that put out there. And one of them is called Vinegar Syndrome. And Vinegar Syndrome is the term for, so like I think film that's not like, so when you and I were projectionists, I think at that point film was used with for safety reasons. I want to say it was like a polyester or some sort of poly, like the film was much, I don't know if you remember this, but it was like really strong. Like if you tried to like snap it with
you couldn't rip it. You
couldn't rip it. You'd have to use like the splicer. But prior to that, film like nitrate film or film that was much thinner, like film made with nitrate is like dangerous. Like it can actually just catch fire.
It's like flammable.
It is very flammable. Yeah. But that's how film was put on early. Right. And as they transitioned to making film to be more like sustainable, like so that you could send it, and play it more, like the older film can get what is called like its vinegar syndrome. Like if it starts to degrade, it will literally just like the film will go away. Like it'll actually like it'll destroy the film eventually. And so vinegar syndrome as a term is also the name of this company, because their whole goal is like, obviously they're putting out Blu-rays and whatnot, but it's almost like film preservation. So they will find original prints, rescan them, put out the best versions. But not only because of that, because if they can get to it before vinegar syndrome, they will save that film from being lost forever, right? And these guys do like tons of like research of like, hey, we heard that some guy owns a print of this. We should go see if we can get our hands on it so that we can like scan it before it goes bad.
Yeah, save it. Yeah.
But then we also have to figure out who owns the rights to these movies so that we can like actually distribute them or whatever, right? So
sure.
And it's funny because it's called Vinegar Syndrome. These guys put out more of the obscure sort of movies, like just some of the ones I'm looking at here. Like actually, as a matter of fact, they put out Raw Force. But also movies like Cthulhu Mansion and The Dark Tower, Action USA, Alien in LA, Death Prison, Penitentiary 2. Like these are all like obscure, like sort of genre kind of sleazy, but also like kind of fun movies. So that is what they have primarily done. And I think a lot of movies that they put out are really good, but they're more for like people like me and film nerds that like we've seen everything. So seeing movies like this, we're like, I've never even heard of like Action USA. What the hell's this? And then it's like this bizarre kind of fun, sleazy movie or whatever. So when these guys said that they were going to put out Cloak and Dagger, I was like, wait, what? Like these guys don't put out movies like this. They put out sleazy movies. They're going to put out Cloak and Dagger. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, well, I want to take a look. I looked at it and I was like, okay, I'm pre-ordering and buying that right away. So this is what the actual like, this is the 4K like sort of cover. And I guess you'll have to remind me to make sure I post this on Instagram.
On Instagram, yes.
When we put out this, but so this is what like this is a box, right? So this is like the whole front back. There's like Morris on the back with the dice or whatever. And then so on the front, you have like Kim and the walkie-talkies and the German spies, and you even see like Jack Flag coming out of
the final scene of the damn dude. But that's awesome.
Here's where it gets really cool. Like actually, like this is gonna, like when I started seeing what this actually had, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to buy this. So that is the inside.
Oh, get the fuck.
So the box art looks like the Cloak and Dagger the cartridge. Like and then on this side is the actual screen from
the screenshot from the level of the game.
Yeah, and this is actually I believe from what was it, Agent X?
Agent X.
But this is that there. So it comes out. This is this is the back of the box. Actually says like game over.
Nice.
on the inside or whatever. So there's that, and this is like a really like the box is like a pretty firm box, and so like this is this is like the Atari cartridge, but then when you take out like the game, it actually it's
treated
it's that actually but see, this actually looks like the cartridge from the movie. This actually looks like the box that you see in remember
the jewel box.
Yeah, exactly. This would be the cartridge inside of that. And so dude,
that is amazing.
Yeah, so the inside's really
Vinegar
cool.
Syndrome did that?
Yeah, and then it comes with this.
Yeah, I'm ordering that.
It comes with this book, which has like a bunch of stuff in here, which is kind of cool because it's like the stuff you see
the
from
actual
the movie.
Yeah.
And so I actually don't even know if this is like, maybe Cloak and Dagger was like, it was like some sort of like
yeah, they do. Yeah, when Morris actually. Yeah, when Morris actually breaks into like when he gets to like 1/1,000,000th level, or like I think it's just the points in the game. When he gets to that number, it opens it up, and then it starts to show the 3D print or whatever of the jet or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, so this whole thing, yeah, there's like redacted information in here, but I
Sure,
think
sure.
if I'm not mistaken, I think this is just sort of like an interview, or it's a discussion with, I think, like Tom Holland and some of the other people that were involved. Because the guy who directed this movie, actually, I've seen some of his other movies, and there, it's funny because he's an Australian. The guy who
Uh huh.
directed this movie,
Yeah.
Richard something, I forget what it is, but
Richard Franklin.
Richard Franklin, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's done a couple of other like really good movies, and I really enjoy those. But yeah, so this comes with a little booklet where I feel like they're talking with some of the people that were involved in the movie, but it's all like done in a really cool way where it's like there's stuff redacted, but there's like cool shots from the movie. There's like it's cool because there is some like behind the scenes stuff here where like you can see the director talking to the kids with the storyboard, sort of
Yeah.
stuff in
Yeah.
there and whatnot. But in any case, this piece, this is like one of my favorite things of things that I've like, I love owning physical media. I think it's like important for preservation, but at the same time, like when they put this much care into like the packaging and everything that kind of goes with it, it's funny because actually the name of the, well, they put this little like sticker here in the corner, like
Yeah.
it says Vinegar
I see it.
Syndrome,
Yeah.
but it's like it's Vinegar Syndrome. It's $9.97. Like it looks like a Target or not Target, a Kmart sticker. This is one
I
of
was
the
going to ask you as soon as you pulled that out, I was like, did it come with the sticker like that? Because
yeah.
I saw it right away, and yeah, you definitely have to put this on Instagram, dude.
Yeah. So when
Absolutely.
when I post this episode, well, I'll make sure to post this as well. You need to buy this. Like this is one of the coolest like box pieces that I've ever bought.
Yeah, I'm already on their website, dude. It'll be ordered before we finish recording.
Yeah. Hopefully,
So
hopefully
that's
they still have copies. I'm sure they do, but
ooh, Faces of Death. They're to be. Oh man. Okay. Well, anyway, I don't want to get
Yeah.
sidetracked. I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to browse this website after we get done.
yeah, you could spend a
Oh,
lot of
shit.
time on their
Okay.
website.
Yeah,
So,
man, you opened Pandora's box.
well, for
Or
this
I
one,
just opened Pandora's
yeah,
box.
for this one, you have to like you need to own this. So that way, like even if like some of the kids come over, and they want to watch something with you, it's like, hey, let's throw this on,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Oh, it's
So-
on sale too. Oh,
Oh,
shit.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So-
all right. Well,
There it
that's going in
is.
the cart.
Yep. So, okay, yeah. So then I wanted to show you that to speak specifically of, I feel like we should have this in the store. We can have this on VHS, but I think that's really the only two ways I think we should have this. Like we can have it on
Agreed.
VHS for people that have the nostalgia kick for it, but we have to have this Vinegar Syndrome like edition in here.
Yeah.
I feel like, unfortunately, I feel like the poster is not super strong on this. So as far as like merch for the store or whatnot, like, I would be fine if we didn't have the poster. It's not like the end of the world, but I will say if they made an alternative poster of just like the Jewel box or the way this Cloak and Dagger, like I would love just this poster of the Cloak and Dagger with like
Yeah.
the confidential and like, if this was a store poster and people were like, what the hell's Cloak and Dagger? And it's like, oh, Cloak and Dagger, let me tell you. Like, because like I said, I think this is the poster. This is like the actual like poster.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yep.
But to me, it feels, I don't know. That doesn't, I mean, I guess it does. It does and it doesn't like sort of speak to what the movie is, but I feel like what Vinegar Syndrome did, I feel like speaks a little bit better to what this actually is. So
Sure.
poster wise, yeah. But as far as like what we could have in the store, man, I would imagine there has to be. I mean, or I feel like somebody needs to put together a Cloak and Dagger like tabletop board game, based on the movie, right? Like, so you need to have like Davy and Kim and maybe even the dad and like, I don't know. It's like a D&D scenario campaign, like it's a tabletop
Yeah.
sort of thing, comes with
Right.
minis or whatever. But I feel like we should have that. We definitely have to have Cloak and Dagger dice, like for sure, because that shows up in the movie like multiple times. And I think that would be cool. I'm trying to think what there. I mean, there's a number of things that we could have. I feel like obviously having the cartridge game would be cool, and whether it's an actual game or not, or maybe we put like candy inside of the case or something like that. I think we could do that. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other big things. I mean, I guess we could do the beret.
The walkie-talkie set.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Them
And they have to be
big-ass-
those. They have to be the big
box.
bricks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things are huge. Yeah, I think absolutely. We have to have the Cloak and Dagger walkie-talkies. I was gonna say, I guess like maybe the beret. Like we could have the beret that has like,
That could be the part of the top shelf fall collection.
like it says like like on the front of that beret it says like Cloak and Dagger, but like maybe like embroidered on the side it says like top shelf top shelf video or something. I don't know. I feel like we could sell the minis, or we could have the minis separate.
Oh yeah.
Because
a
that's
set of minis, like a
Yeah.
set. Yeah, I can see that. A couple of the old people, a couple henchmen.
Yeah.
Obviously Jack Flack and Davey. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And I don't know. I feel like, oddly enough, or just kind of maybe like funny enough, I feel like we should also have some like San Antonio merch. Because I feel like San Antonio is like also a character in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
strangely enough, and maybe it's just because we're Texans and we like it seeing San Antonio in 1984 like just draws back a lot of memories. But funny enough, you go there now, it don't look a lot different. Like it still looks that way. Like maybe the cars look different.
I got to thinking about it. I was like, man, I don't remember the last time I actually went to the Riverwalk. I mean, I might have to. That might have to be a weekend trip here pretty soon.
Well, yeah, and like I said, Denise and I went not that long ago, and we didn't get on any of the boats because it was like in the winter, and I don't think they run the boats in the winter. But we were just walking up and down there because I think we wanted to go to a few. There was a place. There was like a bar or a club or something called like Rewind something. It looked VHS themed, and it turned out it was like kind of like a Gen X sort of thing. There was like a wall of VHS and stuff, and we went to go check it out. It was near the Riverwalk, but the Riverwalk itself and the stuff around it, it still looks exactly the same. Like the hotels and everything that kind of run down it.
All the umbrellas around the tables with the umbrellas and
Yeah, so I don't know like what we would have the Alamo, but maybe like a little Alamo replica or maybe we have a T-shirt or something like in a similar way to like Raw Force where it's like, I don't know, like something like the something related to like San Antonio, but also like having like a T-shirt that has like the Alamo like print on it, but then somehow like you see like the spies or something in the corner, like silhouettes or something like
right,
where it's sort of like Cloak and Dagger sort of related to like all that or whatever. So I don't know, something like that could be cool. But
we can figure some out.
Yeah. Anything else that you can think of? I think that
no
covers.
No, I think that covers kind of merch.
Yeah.
Media. Yeah, I think we're good, man. I think we're good.
Cool. Well, yeah, this was definitely a fun one to revisit. So yeah, I guess if anybody has feedback for us or wants to drop in a comment, you can email us at topshelfvideopodcast@gmail.com. You can go to topshelfvideo.com. The website has all our episodes, but also links to all our social media stuff, a little something about us. There is, that's probably the best way to navigate, I guess, if you're trying to figure out where you can find us. But I mean, you should be able to find us on most of where podcasts are listened to. So like Spotify, Apple, I think like Amazon, all kinds of places there. But, we are on Instagram, Top Shelf Video, TX, I believe is what it is on Instagram. You can find us there. You can shoot us an email, comments. But yeah, if you definitely, if you give us a review or send us some feedback of what you would like to listen to or your thoughts on some of these movies, we'd like to hear about it. But yeah, I think before we get the shop fully up and running, let's go get some breakfast tacos since it's pretty early this morning in the shop before we get the day kicked off. So
yeah.
Well, why don't we do that before we come back, and then we'll get everything sorted. And I think we did a pretty good job of cleaning up the store this morning before we get things going. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's go grab some breakfast, and then
sounds good.
And then we'll catch everybody at the next work shift. But yeah, until then, we'll talk to everybody then.
All right. See you.
All right. See ya.